All right, I haven't done a video in a while. Uh, been a been a lot of work going on. Having to do a lot of work, so that's what's kind of been going on with me. So now the subject of this video is why a lot of black folks can't take responsibility. Man, I'm in a hotel right now. I'm supposed to be for work, so I'm kind of being all uncomfortable. Anyway, uh, so I was talking to a couple black folks the other day about now we were looking at rolling through Houston on our way back after getting done with work, and basically we were looking at some of the older neighborhoods and some of the it was looking at some of the areas that whites have starting to move back into, and they're making high rises, making nice making basically nice places of everywhere. You see the old abandoned homes, and you don't see anybody dealing crack on the street and stuff like that. And talking to these dudes, man, everything I heard them say, it was these white folks did this, or they come in and they're taking it away. My whole thing about all that is that I don't really understand where people are kind of going with that, because basically, and I put myself in a city mayor's role. If I have people coming to visit my city, and because Houston was like right there, Houston was right there. So if I have people come to my city, what do you think that around that city that you're gonna want people to see? What are you gonna want people to see around the city? You're gonna want them to see some place that's all run down and people dealing drugs around the street, or you want tourists to see stuff like that, or do you want them to see people doing well, or people doing the right thing? Is that what you want to see? I imagine that's probably what you want to see. The fact of the matter is that in a lot of black communities and Hispanic communities, for that, a lot of black communities, Hispanic communities, the poor white communities that are around the city, if you don't take care of it, how can you really be mad when people start moving on in and they increase property values trying to clean up the area? Most of the people that live there didn't own the houses anyway. So if you were renting, how can you really be mad that the landowner or the homeowner finally decided to sell your the place you've been living? You can get mad. There's nothing to be upset about. Move on. Move somewhere else. What else can you do? To be honest with you, I'd much rather see that city surviving, or that city doing something with that area that's more aesthetically pleasing than to see a whole bunch of dilapidated houses and people just walking up and down the street, trash everywhere. There's trash everywhere down in 5th Ward, 3rd Ward, or what. There's trash everywhere. People it's almost like they just open their door and just throw the trash out in the street. And I mean, god dang, something they don't like to eat. Just that's. It just doesn't really. I don't get how you could just sit up there and not care about the place that you supposedly love so much. But like I said, these guys in the van, they blaming whites. This is the reason why. It's because the white man come in and he ain't letting blacks have nothing. Man, look here. It's time. Like I've said before, like I've said in other videos, it's time to stop blaming white folks for everything. Most problems in the black community are black folks themselves. No one wants to hear the truth. No one wants to ever hear the truth. The truth is a mother trucker. It really is. It's really bad. A lot of people don't want to take responsibility. That's not just people in the black community. That's also just people in general. A lot of people don't like to take responsibility for what they did wrong. It takes. That's why a lot of people. That's one of those life lessons when people say it took a lot of guts to come forward for this. That's why even the law, a lot of times when you tell the truth about certain things, you actually get a little bit of you actually get a little bit of leniency sometimes, depending on crime, of course. Get a little bit of leniency because the only way you know you can be truly sorry as a person if you actually say, "This is exactly what happened. I'm owning up to it. I really feel sorry for it." Now, if they got to chase you down and do all this other stuff and then you finally admit you're wrong after all this stuff has been proven against you, then obviously you really weren't sorry, just sorry you got caught. So now, you kind of relate that back to the black areas. Most people are just sorry sorry they got caught. Most people don't want to admit that most of the problem isn't whitey. No one wants to admit it, but that is the case. Most of the problem is not whitey. It's that dude and that woman standing right there in that mirror just looking at you. It's that woman or that man just looking in that mirror and just say, you know what? We have really messed up. We are, let's be honest, we are the, we're the, put this in a good way, who other people see us as, we're really in control of that. What we put out there is what people will run with. And there's a lot of blacks that, even in TV, will take these coonish roles, and they'll take these roles where they just play absolute coon. Always the loud black woman, fat black woman that's overly masculine and all this stuff. We'll take all that. They'll always take those roles, even though they'll have a pretty white girl over there off to the side, and she's this and that, and then you have that black woman. Hey, ma. I wouldn't take that. I wouldn't take that. All that. That's what they see you as. You put yourself out there like that, this is what you see. A lot of people sit back and a lot of blacks sit back and are okay with that stereotypical black guys always got to be some kind of aspiring rapper or something, or whatever. Just saw a Powerade commercial where it had I think it was Derrick Rose or somebody like that. Of course, it showed him as a kid. He's aspiring to go play for the Chicago Bulls. I mean, let's be honest, man. Not everybody's going to make it to the league. Whatever. I mean, the fact of the matter is that let's sit back and look in the mirror and say, what can we do to change our image? And what can we do to clean up the neighborhoods? Like I said, can you really be mad that they come in and take everything? Because they know that you don't seem to care anyway. So why don't they just go ahead and take it from you and do what's more economically feasible for them or more economically advantageous for them? Why don't they do that? Now you can't, like I said, you can't blame them. Not for everything. There's things to blame. I mean, let's be honest. There's things to blame white folks for, or that white folks have done, or white folks still do, to hold blacks back or whatever. There's things, but for the most part, black folks never pick up on those. They never pick up on those. They always seem to pick up on stuff that was their fault anyway. Like I said, haven't done video in a while. That was it. I kind of went off on a couple of other different things that I will be making videos for another day, because this is a mess. But at some point, either we're going to clean up ourselves, or somebody else is going to clean it up. And I don't think a lot of you back to African Negroes that always want to talk about African this and that really want any part of that.